we're all or nothing people. So we were in it and we did absolutely everything. So I don't know whether it's stupid or the right thing to do, but like we didn't take a day off for 4 years, we never paid ourselves. Everything we had, time and money, went back into the business.
Does that take a toll?
In hindsight, yes, but I wouldn't change anything. And I know we'll probably come on to that. Oh God, and I'd do it all over again.
Welcome to FEBE Founder Stories. I'm John Maffioli and I'm delighted to be joined on the other side of the chair because you've been co-hosting with me throughout these interviews, Juliet, which I've really enjoyed. But Juliet Barratt from Grenade, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Listen, it's been lovely to do the interviews with you. We've known each other for some time, so I've had the privilege of getting to know you really well. I love your story. But listen, what I'd love to do today is get a little bit of let's hear the Grenade story, but let's more focus on how such a successful journey has impacted on your life now. I'd really like to look at now what it's like to be on the other side of having exited an amazing business and what that kind of creates in terms of the next steps for an entrepreneur. So just give us a whirlwind tour of a whirlwind story of whirlwind overview of Grenade.
You know, we founded Grenade in 2000 and, we incorporated late 2000s, started in 2010. And we wanted to be the Red Bull of sports nutrition. So our background, my background was like in education, Al's background was in like sort of training and supplements. So we had a sports distribution before Grenade and we realised that actually we could do stuff, not better, because that sounds arrogant, but differently from other brands. So at that particular time, a lot of products were very sort of generic, so white tubs, very sort of scientific names like Xenadrin, Zedracut, Hydroxycut, and we realised that there was no
Sounds a bit chemically, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and like when people stepped outside of the gym or the health store, they just couldn't remember what they were called. So we thought, you know what, we can do this differently from everyone else. So we started off with one product, a weight loss product, because we thought at some time in people's lives, most people want to lose a bit of weight, and also we realised that product you could actually feel it working. So it wasn't like a commodity product like a protein where you could take it and you'd probably feel okay but you wouldn't actually feel any difference. So we wanted something that people would ingest and they would actually feel it working. So we spent quite a lot of time working with manufacturers in North America coming up with a really good formula. We tried it, friends tried it, you know, it was like sort of try this, couple of pills, it all looked really dodgy, but obviously it wasn't. And then one of our friends said to one of the versions, it goes off like a grenade. And we thought, you know what, that's it. And like everyone talks about that sort of light bulb moment. It's really, really
You don't
cheesy.
Like that word, do you?
No,
I've been saying it all the time. What's your light bulb moment?
You know, everything that you do in your life goes towards that moment almost. So it's almost like 15, 20 years of experience in other products and, you know, things like that. And then we'd come across grenades before, like smoke grenades in paintballing. I was a bit of a nutter with paintball, you know. Our garage was like some sort of ammunition sort of storage area. So like you'd heard that word before, but like when it was said in that context, we thought, do you know what, that's it. And what we realised is that we wanted a global brand really early on, so we were massively ambitious. You know, it wouldn't be good enough for us just to have a UK brand. Even though the UK market is huge in sports nutrition, we wanted a global brand. We wanted something very distinctive, so it didn't matter what language you spoke, where you were in the world, you would know what that product was called by the look and feel of the packaging. So one of our very early investments was sort of 20 grand in the Grenade tool. So we went to a tool maker that Al's dad knew in Birmingham. You know, he was on his knees, you know, business had dried up, and we said, can you make us a grenade-shaped container? And he said, yes, I can.
A grenade-shaped container
for the tablets. Okay. The first product, thermodetonator, was like a capsule product.
Yeah.
So we invested £20,000 in the tooling, which was obviously a huge investment for us. And then we worked with a design agency in Manchester to come up with like the sort of packaging. And yeah, we launched Grenade, like thermodetonator, the weight loss product, in February 2010 in the UK.
Wow.
And like when we launched it, we were in Florida because we'd sold our previous business and like we were going to retire, but we lasted about 3 weeks. We were in holiday.
Let me stop you. So you know, I never realised that. So you'd already exited a successful business before you started that.
I mean, it was more of a sort of lifestyle business. So like it was sports nutrition distribution. So,
wow.
But again, that's when, you know, people talk about they just want to set up a business. You think, well, you've got to have that authority to play in that space. So we had years behind us in sort of sports nutrition where we were talking to people, you know, we both go to the gym. So you've got all that sort of life experience. It isn't just starting a product and sort of learning on the job almost.
Wow.
But yeah, we sort of retired. We thought, oh, do you know what, we might do a bit of work. But we were like 3 weeks and we were like, oh my God, I'm so bored. It was when we were in Malaysia, we were in a swimming pool, we thought, oh God, we're really bored.
Only 3 weeks?
Yeah, that was it. That's all we did. So we came back to the UK and that's when we started Grenade. But when we actually launched it in the UK, we were in Florida and we were sitting there. We were selling to 2 wholesalers. And we were watching the sales or the non-sales and we were thinking, shit, you know, we need to get back to the UK and we need to make this sell.
Yeah.
So that's when we got back and thought, this isn't just going to be something we can do from wherever we are in the world. You know, we're all or nothing people.
Yeah.
So we were in it and we did absolutely everything. So I don't know whether it's stupid or the right thing to do, but like we didn't take a day off for 4 years. We never paid ourselves. Everything we had, time and money, went back into the business.
Does that take a toll?
In hindsight, yes, but I wouldn't change anything. And I know we'll probably come on to that. Oh God, and I'd do it all over again. You know, and it's not, you don't see it as work. It sounds like really cheesy, but it is, it's you. It's something that defines you. Yeah. So, you know, we were Grenade and like we knew what we were doing, as in not what we were doing, as in we didn't know everything, but we knew we wanted to do this. Yes. So we always had complete belief in what we were doing.
So when did it, so you talk about you manufactured the grenade-shaped container. So that was one product. That was clearly a successful product. Yep. So was that then the catalyst for just further products that then just enabled you to get even more daring with the branding and what have you? Was that just the first step in then a whole step of just amazing growth?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we were ever that we weren't daring with the packaging. We were probably a bit more out there, but we never wanted to really push it because I think there's a fine line between having a distinctive brand and having a gimmicky brand. Yeah. And like bearing in mind we were selling something in a plastic grenade container, you know, it was bordering on that gimmicky. Right. And we did actually have a bit of negative sort of feedback at the beginning where people were saying, you know, does it work? Because it looks like a toy. And we never wanted to be like the sort of jokey sports nutrition brand. Right. And that doesn't mean that we don't have a sense of humour, because we do, and we never took ourselves too seriously, but we took the business really, really seriously.
Is it hard when you get feedback like that? You said you'd made a significant investment. Does it cause worry when some people start to give a perception that you didn't even anticipate?
Not worried, but I think you do have to take on board feedback, positive or negative. I think you'd be a bit sort of arrogant if you sat there and thought, you know what, I know what I'm doing and I'm doing the right thing. And, you know, you've always got that belief and that gut feeling. But, you know, we did listen to people and we knew it. You know, it was a grenade-shaped container, and like other products that we had were in similar packaging. So we did a pre-workout, which was in a 50 cal ammunition box. But because the products were good, it was really, really easy to get over that initial judgment because they worked. And like that's something that we never ever compromised on. Yeah. We would never ever want to mislead people and sell them like a crap product. We wanted people to continue to buy Grenade. That was so important to us.
Yeah. So you then had years and years of incredible growth, featuring in, for example, the Fast Track for 6 or 7 years. Yep. I mean, that must have been an experience in itself, with all of a sudden country, you know, lots of the products in lots of countries, all of a sudden building an amazing team, the brand being incredibly well known. I remember, you know, I really enjoyed I still do, but seeing the Grenade bars in Marks and Spencer's and amazing places like that. So what was that like, you know, all of a sudden that incredible period where you hit that growth?
I mean, like there wasn't actually that takeoff. We always knew we were on the edge of something really special, but you know, sports nutrition is a different market, and like I would never, you know, we were lucky at Grenade, and not lucky as in, you know, we just got given loads of stuff, because we never did, but we were lucky that things were on our side. So we had a great product, we worked ridiculously hard, we built a really, really good team, but we had time on our side, so the timing was good. So we launched Grenade in a recession. At that sort of particular point, people were investing in looking good. They were feeling a bit down, they probably didn't have enough money to go to the pub or whatever, so they went to the gym because the gym was cheap. So it was all about what you looked like and investing in yourself. Yeah. And like we knew that protein was becoming more normalised, and we knew that sort of people were becoming much more aware of their health and fitness. So like when we launched Carb Killer, which really was the, I hate the word, game changer in the business, that took us from like a sort of sports nutrition specialist brand to an FMCG mass market brand. Right, and so that was the moment, really the moment.
That was the pivotal.
Yeah, because it opened up a whole new range of consumers for us. Really? That people wouldn't have gone into a gym or into a health store, but they went into Tesco's.
Independence and freedom for entrepreneurs is something that's really important. You know, the ability to wake up and feel that they're master and commander sometimes of their businesses. How did you feel as the business got bigger, started to take investment? did it become, was it as enjoyable as it was? Did the dynamic change? What was that like?
It's such a difficult one. I mean, we had our first round of investment with Grove Point Capital in 2014, and I remember them saying they were investing in Alan Jules and Four Cats. So the business was quite small. It was a sports nutrition brand. It was a completely different animal. They were great friends, really supportive, helped us sort of bring on good people that helped the business grow. We had Lion Capital investing in 2017. Again, good people, you know, I don't know how much value they added to the business, because obviously we had a really good team at that point. I always found that, you know, these people trusted us to give them a return. And like, I felt a sense of responsibility, especially with Grove Point, because they took a punt on us. Yeah. You know, we didn't have Carb Killer then, the business was completely different. Yeah. And they put their money, their investors' money into us. And like, I felt a responsibility to give them a return. Yeah. And actually, you know, that almost just pressed the reset button and we went again. So we worked harder and harder because we had other people to prove right, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes total sense. And then of course you had the big exit, the 200 million exits at Mondelez.
Yep.
What is it like when all of a sudden you have that great big payday? Is it amazing? Is it everything that you imagine it's going to be?
I mean, I can only speak from, you know, personally. For me, no. I mean, one of the I was more proud seeing Grenade products on shelves. And like, I went out for a walk the other day and I saw a Grenade Carb Killer wrapper on the floor, and I felt really proud that someone was eating, not my product anymore, but, you know, a Grenade product. Yeah. And like, when we started Grenade, we never did it to make the money. We did it for the journey and for the enjoyment. And like, if I'm honest with you, and I probably in hindsight again should have thought about this, I never really thought about what happens after that, because it was all consuming. So, you know, I spent 10, 11 years living and breathing Grenade. Like, our holidays were Grenade holidays, and don't get me wrong, we did some fun. Well, like, you know, we used to go to on holiday, but we always used to do business when we were there. So we went to South Africa and met our distributor. You know, we went to, you know, we got involved as, you know, the Virgin Fast Track, and we went to South Africa to Sir Richard's Reserve there, but we met distributors on the way out there. Right. So like, I had some phenomenal opportunities, but they were all sort of embedded in Grenade.
So everything.
Yeah, everything. So we lived and breathed it.
You hadn't thought of what it's like when
I never thought about the money. And like,
but also, what's life when that's gone?
No, I never thought about it. And like, I think, you know, when you have the business with a partner, you know, we've interviewed sisters and husband and wife teams and stuff, you know, we didn't have kids. So, you know, that was our life. Grenade was our baby. So we had no sort of differentiation between work and home. So like, home was where we talked about work, and work was where we did work. You know, our holidays, like I said, were work. Our friends were work. You know, so it's all consuming. And I think the week before the Mondelez deal, I mean, I stepped away, and I know we'll probably talk about it, from the business in January 2019. But I was in bits the week before the deal, because it was almost like, you know, this is the end. This is the end. And I'd never really thought about it like that. Really? And like, I remember the day it happened at like 1 o'clock on a Sunday morning. You know, I had to go around to the lawyer's house at like midnight to drop some documents off. And, you know, he actually had to phone me the beginning of the following week saying, Juliet, have you got your money? Because I just hadn't even looked in the bank, because it was so unimportant to me. Really? Wow.
What was that period like then, when all of a sudden the book was closed?
Well, I think the week before was worse, because it's almost like, you know, when you've got to go to the dentist and have a root canal, you like sort of dread it. And I think it was that build up and that week. I knew it was happening. Yeah, I knew it was happening, but I just couldn't really get my head around it. I think when it's done, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I've always been a big sort of believer in that, you know, don't worry about something until it happens. And then when it happens, you can deal with it. Yeah. But it was tough. Yeah. And I still think, you know, what was that, over a year ago now, like 15, 16 months? I'm still a bit like in limbo, because it's almost like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's not my life anymore.
Is there still something in you that could go again and risk it all to go again?
Yeah, definitely.
There is?
Yeah. I mean, like, if we had the opportunity to buy back Grenade, I'd do it.
Yep.
And I know that sounds a bit stupid, because the business is different now from when we started it. But again, because it's sort of your baby, yes, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I love business, and, you know, I love doing new things and meeting new people and travelling. And I think, you know, having a business enables you to do all of that. And like, you know, we've talked a lot with various people in the room about a purpose. And I think, you know, when you're growing something, that gives you purpose.
In terms of people who you've been talking about, the people that we've been interviewing and the journeys that they're on, you know, you said that all of a sudden it came as a massive shock when the business was sold. I guess, is there anything that you give as advice in terms of helping people to manage that? For obviously, many of these people will experience that when all of a sudden it's, you know, they wake up and it's no longer their business. Is there anything you do to manage that better?
I mean, I think that, you know, there's a lot more support out there now. Like, there are really good mentoring programs, and I think people have been through exits, so like they're there to talk. But, you know, I think having that life we never had a life outside of Grenade. Like I said, it was all sort of consumed. You know, we didn't have kids, so we didn't have that sort of reason to go away and not talk about work. And I think that, you know, the people that we've been talking about, even though they're all consumed in the business, you know, they're having families, they've got families, and they've got that sort of normal life outside. But I can't give any advice because I wouldn't do anything differently.
No.
I wouldn't have been a part-time person in the business, you know, I would never have stepped away and just done a couple of days a week, because that's just not in my DNA, you know. Yeah. I am an all or nothing person.
You know, there's lots of talk of the 5 a.m. club. Yeah. You know, if you're going to be successful, set your alarm, get up before everybody else is. But you are actually one of those people.
Well, 5:20.
5:20? Yeah. Is your alarm set, or you just get up at 5:20?
No, my alarm's set 5:20, but normally I wake up just before.
So what? And has that been a more recent thing? Was that always how you've been?
No, I mean, that's from back, I don't know, from 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you do? Why so early?
I'm a morning person,
okay.
So like I said, I get up really early, let the dog out, and I go on the running machine for an hour, and I've done that for years and years and years.
Really?
And that sets me up for the day, so it's my time. You know, I watch the news, I watch something crappy on the TV, but it's just the way I start the day, and then I've got no regrets about, you know, that's what I need to do in the day, and then I'm set up for work. Okay. I can't do the running machine at night because, like, I'm constantly thinking and...
Really?
Yeah.
So, and bed early?
Yeah, although that's probably not... I love going out.
Yeah.
You know, but I just, you know, I live in Cheshire, it's quite quiet where I am, and yeah, it just seems to be like bed early and then get up early the next day. But yeah, I could stay up and read or go out for dinner. And
I'm going to try the early morning thing. Let's give it a go. Yeah,
I'll phone you then.
Let's just give it a go. Yeah. Let's see if it makes me more successful. Yeah. I'm going to have a crack at that.
I'll phone you at 5:20. Yeah.
Now, whilst we've got you here, and with the wealth of experience that you have across, and again, I hadn't realised that you'd even had a business before Grenade. I've always focused very much on Grenade. There must have been some huge challenges that you had to overcome during your entrepreneurial career, and I'm always interested in what they were and how you overcame them, because I think there's so many lessons in that. Can you think of anything that was that big, oh my goodness moment, and how you overcame that, and therefore anything we can learn from that experience?
I mean, I think that you have challenges every day. You know, there were times that were hard. So, for example, just before the Grove Point deal, that was 2014, we had a warehouse in Coventry. And like, you know, when it's your business and when it's quite a small business, you know, you take everything really, really personally. So we got broken into the warehouse on a Friday night. We had a phone call from the police at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And like we went down there and like they'd stolen a load of stock out the warehouse and whatever else. I mean, like a couple of pallet loads.
Okay.
But you know, we found it. You know, we got it back because like we weren't letting anyone take what was
really?
Ours. Yeah,
even
but,
those
like,
2 pallets.
Yeah, but we got like CCTV cameras and everything like that. And then 2 weeks later they did it again. So we actually watched them do it, and that hurt. And like that was when we were going through a deal. And like, you know, every email you got was like a question wanting stuff, and it was relentless. So like Al and I slept there. So like we got duvets, we watched Sons of Anarchy, you know, we went out and got McDonald's and stuff, and you know, yeah, we were that protective over our business. We slept there.
Wow.
And that was tough because like, you know, the day-to-day was tough, and then when you thought you had to protect what you've got as well, you know, that made it really hard. But yeah, we had a really good team, and I'll never forget Rob.
So come to the team, but what is the lesson there then? Because is it you've got to be obsessive about everything? Because 2 pallets in the size of the company is not a big thing, is it? But you're saying it doesn't matter.
It's the principle almost. It was ours. And I think that, you know, when you're quite not vulnerable, but like you're giving out a lot of yourself and your business in the deal process, and someone does that to you, at that early point you take it personally. But you know, on reflection, it wasn't personal. You know, we don't understand the reason behind it, but it was someone wanting stock. It could have been our warehouse. It could have been someone else's. Okay. So you know, that was a tough time because I think mentally and emotionally, we felt like we had to protect what was ours.
Yeah.
But you know, Rob Rob, the warehouse guy, it was hilarious. And like, you know, like in any difficult moment, you always get like that beacon of light, something that makes you smile and think, do you know what, everything's going to be all right. And Rob was like in the warehouse, and he was absolutely hilarious. He'd obviously been watching Home Alone, and like every Friday, like before the weekend, he used to fashion this like Home Alone security system. So he put like the forklift truck up against the door. There were like metal posts. He'd put nails in them. You know, you expected like a bucket of tar and like feathers, but again, like they loved the business like we did. And you know, they low points, you know, I always say that when you've got a good team around you, you know, the highs are higher and the lows are less low, and that was definitely one of those moments. Really.
And you built a great, you know, the culture is something you've spoken about. You were so proud of the culture at Grenade. Any sort of lovely gems in terms of how you create that great culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think that because Al and I were so integral to the business, you know, we were in it. You know, I was first one in, last one to go, whether that be the right or wrong thing. And like, you know, we had that genuine passion. And when we recruited early on, we recruited people that we liked and were similar culturally, because I think you can teach someone to do something, but you can never change who they are. Yeah. So we had a really strong team of people that just got us, knew us, and we socialised with them. As the business gets bigger, it becomes harder because you have to recruit on ability as opposed to, you know, becoming friends with everybody. Yeah. But, you know, because we did quite a few sort of experiential events, we drove the tank through London, you know, all the teams saw that and they sort of bought into it. And, you know, Alan and I were still very accessible, so we took them all out for, you know, dinner, to the cinema, and, you know, there were 30 of us that went out some nights, and, you know, we just tried to keep everybody close. Yeah,
so it's always leading with that founder spirit in terms of making sure everyone feels very inclusive and part of.
But also we wanted people to know the Grenade story, because I think when people come into a business when it's doing well, and Grenade did well, we always say it's like the Grenade gravy train. They just see the good times, but they need to know what went into growing the business. So the fact that people started on like 13 grand and like we worked in a shitty warehouse, and, you know, we didn't have the luxury of Grenade branded cars. It was all very much like, you know, just you can sit on the floor because we haven't got a desk, or, you know, the warehouse is pitch black and, you know, there's one shared toilet and it's disgusting. They need to know about all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's say next week, next month, next year, you're going to go again.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm hoping you tell me when you are, so we can get excited about that. But what would you do completely differently? Is there anything you would do a little bit differently or massively different?
I mean, it was nice having a founder, you know, a co-founder. So I think that sort of, not safety in numbers, but, you know, that friendship and that sort of companionship and like being able to sort of bounce ideas off you is really important. Really? I definitely build a team quicker, because I think we probably did too much for too long because we thought we could do everything. Right. And like actually just bringing on good people frees you up to do what you're better at. Yeah. But with regard to sort of the work ethic and running really lean, and getting to know your distributors and that face-to-face contact and getting consumers on board and not trying to mislead anyone, there's nothing that I would do differently.
Now you're involved with some really exciting up-and-coming businesses as well. How are you finding the role of being a mentor?
Yeah, so like I work with a couple of sort of vegan food brands, drinks brands. The relationship is really important. So the founders that I work with, and some of them are on the ones to watch list, they're friends and they listen and we get on really well, and hopefully I can take out some of the pain from sort of what should we do. You know, I'm just a sounding board, so I never tell anyone what to do. I'm just sort of there if they want advice.
And that's important, not to tell the founders what to do.
Yeah, of course, because it's their business. And like, you know, the one thing that's come through with entrepreneurs that we've talked to during these interviews is that gut instinct. Yeah. And like, you know, that's really, really important. But if I didn't agree with something, I would say, but then it would be up to, you know, the founders to make that decision, because it's their business. Yeah. And, you know, you haven't got the right to tell them what to do. You can just be there as a support. Yeah. So it's interesting, you know, those growth stages where it's all about building the team and like building the brand, but it's not mine. Really? And that's not a sort of that I want. It's that, you know, it's their business. Yes. So you have a different relationship than if it's your business. Although, you know, I would like to think that, you know, I always refer to their businesses as our business, and, you know, to have that ownership mentality.
Yes. Okay, and the final thing is almost a big heartfelt thank you from me, because I approached you some months back now when we just had the first thought of the Growth 100 and how cool it would be, and I called you up and I just said, look, I want to create this Listen Awards. I want to create it to be more than Listen Awards. I want it to be something that is truly beautiful in the sense that it's a celebration of the things that founders achieve. And you said, right, great. you know, I'll support you. And that meant everything to me. What is it about founders, you know, that you clearly have so much respect and admiration and love for?
I think so many people expect a paycheck at the end of the month, and like, you know, you talk to people that are employed and they moan about their workplace, you know, they've got to go into the office, their colleagues, but they get that paycheck at the end of the month. And I think it takes real balls to start your own business, because you are putting everything at risk. You know, we've talked to people that are just having families, you know, that they're going in with husband and wife, they're, you know, buying businesses, and like, they're putting everything on the line. And, you know, it's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. And, you know, you have to put so much more into it than the 9 to 5. And, you know, I've just got huge respect for anyone that's got the balls to actually start their own business.
Amen.
Because it is a risk. But, you know, the journey is just so exciting. And like I said, you know, the highs are really high, the lows are low. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you succeed or not, you know, it's all about the journey.
Yeah, it feels to me, someone described it to me quite recently, the journey's extraordinary extreme.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But what you're saying is, that is the case,
yeah.
But enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the journey,
yeah.
No matter how hard it will get at
yeah,
times.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a weird one, but I did this like really long trip. Like we travelled to loads of countries in a relatively short space of time, and it was a phenomenal, like once in a lifetime experience. It was like 8 countries in 23 days.
Wicked.
But like someone said to me, this isn't a holiday anymore, this is a mission. And like, I think that's so true, because like, I think when you're running your business, you know, it's a mission. This is what you are setting out to do, and it's completely your choice, and you've just got to enjoy it.
Brilliant. I love that. What a great race to finish on. Thank you so much for
Pleasure.
You know, co-hosting these interviews. I love doing with you. Thank you for your support with everything we're doing, and sharing some great words of wisdom with us just now. So thanks, Jules.